Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Sharon Vornholt, and I'm so happy you're tuning in today. You may have noticed that I've been absent for about a month now, and I wanted to just talk a little bit about that and get that out of the way. I injured my shoulder, and I learned that I had to have a big shoulder surgery, which meant I wasn't able to do a lot of the things that I was previously doing, being in a very restrictive sling 24/7 for 4 weeks. But I'm back now, still have a ways to go with the physical therapy, but that's going to take a while. But anyway, I couldn't be happier to be back. One thing that I noticed during this process was that I really needed to work on patience. I had a problem with this whole process, and I wasn't able to just relax and lean into the fact that I needed to take some time off. I felt like I was letting people down, and it was honestly hard for me to be in a position where I was in a recovery situation. So going forward, this is something I know that I need to work on, that sometimes you just have to take a break for whatever reason. But I did miss being here every week. So I'm really happy to be back. And today, I want to talk about probate lists. So I've gotten a lot of questions about probate lists. How do you organize the information, and how do you keep it so that it's not so darn confusing? Because if you work probates for any length of time, you're going to grow a pretty big list over time. You're going to add folks every month after month. So I wanted to go back to the probate process a little bit and just run through that again. I know we've done this a lot of times, but you need to know where getting the list fits into this, so that when we talk about how you organize your lists so that it doesn't drive you crazy when you have to scrub these lists. That's the point of that we're going to talk about today. So in the probate process, you know that someone passes away, the estate is opened, and then the decision maker is determined. Now, that might be the executor if they've been named in a will, or it might be the administrator if the court appoints this person. But either way, I like to call them the decision maker. Now, there are a lot of other things happening. If there's a will, the will has to be proved that it's a valid will, and a lot of other things. And that's what the attorneys and the court does. We don't need to be worried about that. So the next piece in the process, once this estate is opened and they have proven, they've appointed whomever's going to be in charge, the next thing that happens here is that you can sell the property. Well, you have to first know about the property before you can even think about buying the property. Now, we've covered lead generation in other videos and podcasts, but this is very area specific, so I'll touch on it just a bit. In my area in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, they are in the newspaper. Now, there are some sources for getting online leads around the country. We have a lot of information here on online records has to do with wills and things like that. But this is something that you're going to have to do a little bit of detective work and figure out, are they online? Just Google probate leads or probates open plus your city, probates open plus your county. In some areas, you're going to have to go to the courthouse. Now, some people will choose to purchase leads. I've never been a big fan of those, simply because I've never found something in my area that's actually pulled from the court records. It will usually be information that's pulled from obituaries. And this is something I never want you to work, because if it's in an obituary, the estate isn't open and you can't buy the property. But it's just very hard on the family if you contact them at this part of the process. So the first piece of this is figure out where to get the leads. And like I said, you can go over to the podcast, Let's Talk Real Estate Investing, or the Louisville Gals Real Estate blog. And I have a lot of other information on there on those topics. So once you get the list, then what do you do with it? Because every month there's a new list that comes out, a new group of names that go on this list. Now, you're going to have a way to put these into an order so that you can work them as you go through the process. Let's say, as I'm recording this, this is April 2023. So in April 2023, all the names that I would get or you would get from your source, your lead source, whatever that turns out to be, they would go into a spreadsheet and that would say April 2023. Then next month, you're going to start a new sheet. It's going to be called May 2023, and so forth on down the line. Now, the reason for this is so that you can, one, segment your mailings, do sequential mailings to these people. And number two, when it's time to scrub your list or clean up your list and take off all the solds, then you have a list of, maybe if you're in a tiny town, it might be 20, 30, 40 people. If you are in a big city like Chicago, they have something over 800 leads a month. Now, it would be unrealistic for you to work 800 leads a month. So if you're in a big metropolitan area, you would choose the individual cities or villages or whatever they're called in your area, and you would work those leads. But the point here is that you do not create one big list. As I said, number one is because you're going to be sending them a different mail piece. And number two is because when the time comes in 4 to 6 months, you should be cleaning your list up at least every 4 to 6 months and taking out the solds. Now, you can do this pretty simply. We do it on the tax assessor site. Other places, they use the appraiser site. It's called, I know in Minnesota, they use the appraiser site. But you simply look up the property and see if it's still in the same name or if it's been sold, and if that person lives in the house is one of the markers I use. Now, if it's been sold and it's got a different mailing address, then you need to try to determine, is this an investor deal? You might be able to figure out that it's been sold and it's a rental now because it's in an LLC or a trust or something like that. That's really another whole topic. But this is just basically how you would go about the kind of the overview of cleaning your list. So every month you're going to build your list. You're going to keep your list in a spreadsheet, and then you're going to, when you start mailing, you're going to mail different mail pieces to them. And why does all this matter? Well, it matters because in a year, when you have 12 different groups of names, if you have them all on one list, you're going to just want to pull your hair out when you have to go through all these names. Even in a small area like mine, you might have, well, we're something under 1 million population, maybe 1 million-ish with the outlying counties. You're still going to have, depending on your criteria and how you sort these properties, the ones you want to work and the ones you don't want to work, you're going to have about 60 to 120 people, potential leads on your list. I do recommend that you shave this list down. You know, take all these leads and look at them. Are some of them in areas where you absolutely wouldn't work? Are some of them just too expensive? They're in type A neighborhoods, high A neighborhoods. Take those off and focus on your bread and butter properties and the nicer properties, maybe step up properties, whatever it is you work in your area. And as your business grows, this will change. Most people start out with a much lower end house, a much lower end property than what they end up with years down the road. So that's why it matters. Now, you set these up by month and year so that going forward, you set up a system. You want us to systematize this so that you can do this easily going forward. Whether you do this in-house or use a mail house, that's an individual choice. I will tell you, though, that you can, with today's prices of the actual supplies, the actual stamps, not even including your time, you can outsource this mailing cheaper than you can buy all the things to do it in-house, and you don't have to do the work. So there is that. Now, The advantages of using a mailing house to send out your direct mail go beyond just the cost, though. The really big thing is that your mail actually goes out each month. Like I said, you're building systems, you're building processes. And let's say you want to go on vacation. So I have a really good friend that just took an extended trip. It was a delayed anniversary trip that didn't happen during COVID. She went to a conference for about a week. Then she was in Europe for almost 3 weeks on this anniversary, this big anniversary trip. And then she came back for a week or so, and then she went to Japan to see her son. Guess what? Nothing happened with her business, except that it continued to go on and it continued to grow because she had these systems and these processes in place. Now, you can do the same thing with your direct mail. The company I like is Open Letter Marketing, and I'll tell you in a minute how you can get a big discount on your direct mail by using their CRM, which, by the way, has a free version. But I want you to stop and think a minute about all the work that goes into this, getting all these pieces put together. And what happens is that you get busy, you get to looking at property, you get busy creating content or whatever it is that's your core thing that you do, and your direct mail marketing doesn't happen. Your direct mail does not go out on time. Well, folks, you get off track by a month, you've just lost potentially a lot of money. You've lost the leads, the consistent follow-up on the leads. You've lost putting your new leads in because you got hung up in doing entry-level work. You got hung up on doing low-level tasks like doing the direct mail yourself. There was a time when it was not this economical to do it, to have someone else do it, when it was actually much cheaper to do it yourself. But that's not the case today. But this all starts with the systems and getting things set up and the way they're going to be going forward. And organizing your list will allow you over time to have a really good grasp on where you are and what you need to do. Now, think about this for a minute. If you do direct mail marketing to probates for the next 3 years, each one of those years, you're going to have 12 lists. So at the end of 3 years, you're going to have 36 different lists. Now, those early lists may not have any names on them at that point. They may have some names on them, but you're going to have a lot of lists, and it just becomes too cumbersome to take care of all of those if you have not set this up properly. Now, we talked a little bit about the cost, but the really big piece here that I want you to take away, and this is what I just talked about, is that you make more money outsourcing this. You will 100% make more money focusing on setting up the systems, setting up your list segmentation so that you can send sequential letters to each list. With probates, you are sending them a little bit different message every month. It's not a lot different, but it's a subtle difference that says, like in the beginning, this is who I am and this is what I do. As you go down the road a little bit, you're going to say, just checking in, how's settling the estate coming along? As you're going down the road, I've sent you a couple of letters. I wanted to check in and see if you're ready to have a conversation. But each one of these letters that you send, you are building rapport and you are building your brand. There is way more at play here than just sending a direct mail letter. It's the way they're going to choose you. Now, Mike Michalowicz wrote a book, and you should put this down. It's called Get Different: Marketing That Can't Be Ignored. You want to be the person who is different, the person that doesn't quit, the person that shows up every month, the person that has a message that's other than just we'll buy your house for cash. Guess what? Everybody says that. So you have to be different. And the way you can be different in this is by coming across a softer, gentler way that says, I'll be here when you're ready to sell. This is who I am. This is how I can help you solve your problem. And no hurry. I'll be here. We'll work on your timetable, but I'll be here when you're ready. That's the difference that you can convey to people. And that's the difference that will make them remember you. It will make you remarkable in their eyes. So the last thing I'd want to leave you with is something I talk about a lot, and those are some direct mail statistics. You might say, oh, this list stuff, I can do this a different way. I can just stick it all in one list. But you want to think of direct mail as the long game, and you want to make it as easy as you can to succeed at this game. So when it comes to direct mail statistics, about 85% of your deals, not your calls, your deals will come at or beyond your fifth mailing. Those percentages that I have a blog on that on the Louisville Gals Real Estate blog, something like statistics aren't sexy, but great results are, or something like that. You can just put the word sexy in the search bar and that post will come up. Because if you understand how this works, if you understand how to organize all your information so that it's easy to do, then it will make you have a much greater chance of success, because guess what? 90% of your competition will quit on or before the third mailing. So this is the long game. I say this all the time. Direct mail is the long game, but it's very profitable and you will get leads for years to come, for many years to come. Okay, well, I think that pretty much covers that topic. If you have any questions, this was actually a reader question that I had. If you have any questions, just send them my way. You can do that either on the blog or at sharon@sharonvornholt.com. You can also send me a message through the podcast. You can also do that. I will put some links in there. I meant to tell you a little bit about Envelo's CRM. So Envelo and Open Letter Marketing are sister companies owned by the same person. Envelo has a CRM, which is the way you put is a contact management system, and you can put your leads in there and move them through the process from the first time you mail them. You can have your direct mail dates. You can have your the date they first called you, the date you looked at the house. It's a way you track your leads, because losing just one lead a year, if you're a wholesaler, can cost you $10,000, $20,000 or more. So you don't want to lose your leads. So go over, use my link, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. It's SharonVornholt.com/Envelo, INVELO, in all lowercase letters. So that's SharonVornholt.com/Envelo, INVELO. If you sign up and get their CRM, there is a paid version, but there's also one that is completely free to use forever. You can use that until you need to upgrade and you want more bells and whistles. The main advantage of signing up through this link is that you will get 10% off your direct mail forever when you use this link. Now, you may forget about this if you don't do it today, if you don't do it now, even if you're not going to send direct mail for a while. Sign up and get the discount, because this is huge over time. From someone who's done direct mail through 2 companies since 1991, I can tell you this is huge. I'll be sure that this link is in the show notes. I will also put a direct link in there for my link for Open Letter Marketing. Should you not have any interest in the CRM, you can, although I would still say get the CRM because of the discount, but I'll put the link in there for Open Letter Marketing. I can personally tell you this is a great company to work with. They are good at what they do. They are easy to work with, and they will make your life so much easier. So that's it for today, guys. And I'm happy to be back once again. And I will see you all same time, same place next week. Bye for now.